Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Untapped Podcast. My name is Jacob Gabel.
And my name is Jacob Wurtz, guys. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 25. If this is your first time joining us for the Untapped Podcast, first of all, thank you for joining us, and we are so thrilled to have you here with us. We've actually got 5 main formats of our show. First, and this is what we have today, we have Forging Fortitude episodes. Now, in these episodes, we cover everything to do with the mental side of things, okay? We go over our anecdotal experience with mindset and mentality, and we pass on advice to you guys to then use in your own life. Next, we have physical vitality episodes. In these episodes, we really get to showcase our expertise because you have 2 certified personal trainers here. In these episodes, we cover everything to do with the physical side, okay? So we go over fitness, diet, nutrition, the gym, workout programs like 75 Hard. Sometimes we will even find things that are trending in the fitness industry, and we will give our opinions and thoughts on those.
Dude, this is so exciting for me. But anyways, to stay on focus, guys, third format is our breaking news format. That is a current event-based format. The entire idea behind that is basically bringing awareness to the current events that are going on in the world. We also use the article format, like Wurtz mentioned in the fitness articles, but we turn it into current event articles. We might interject those into the YouTube videos sometimes, into the Spotify, etc., and we basically go over those, call it the bullshit, and all the good stuff that comes along with that. Our fourth format, guys, is our Knights Table episodes. It's a masculinity-based format. Now, keep in mind, I'm 25, Wurtz is 25, and my brother Mitch is 23. So, because of that, we are bringing you along the journey of becoming a masculine man, and we're not here to tell you that we're in this perfect place as a man, and no man, for that matter, is. Again, like I mentioned last episode, the only man that's perfect is Christ. So, because of that, we really think masculinity is paramount in our current world, and we want to bring that back in the strongest way possible. Our fifth and final format is our guest format, guys. The guest format, you can probably guess, it's when we sit down with somebody that it brings you value of some sort. Fitness professional, entrepreneur, somebody with a great story, etc. Those are a lot of fun. We'll have some of those coming up real soon that are going to be super exciting. Now, guys, our last thing to introduce is our producer and my brother, Mitch Gabel.
What's up, y'all?
Money Mitch, what's up, baby?
I get the arm, you guys don't.
We are outside, dude. How sick is this, man?
It is awesome.
This is so cool. Awesome. So, guys, what Gable was alluding to, for those of you that are not watching on YouTube right now, we are actually, yeah, true. Especially this one, because we are outside on the Wurtz deck recording on this beautiful night.
Yep.
This is so cool. So cool. We got a little setup going here by the fire. Man, it feels good to be outside. Like, we talk all about being outside and whatnot, and to do our thing in the outdoors, like, it's very, very cool.
It's a different feeling, dude. It really is.
Yeah.
Like, there's something mood boosting about being out here, 100%.
Absolutely. You get the bugs, like, going behind
Again,
us.
it's a cool aesthetic, too, as we know.
True.
But,
we're basically the Full Send podcast now.
I mean, hey, if we get guests like Full Send podcasts, I'm down.
When we get guests,
exactly.
Not if.
Well, if right now, that's what I mean.
We have a desire to win, man. Like, we're going to get there. Man, I'm just too good at prefacing things. That's crazy.
I think so. You do this a lot. It ends up happening a lot,
do.
and it's really funny, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So go ahead, lead us in then.
So, guys, our episode today, we want to bring you a little bit of a firing, forging fortitude. Not necessarily, of course, any of the...
Fire.
Unbelievable. Well, the dad puns don't stop outside either, guys.
No, of course
apparently.
not, man.
Yeah.
I'm 25 now, so I'm old. You know, my body's breaking down. The jokes are just...
You got to go into your element, then, is what you're saying.
Mitch is already sick of us.
Yeah, Mitchell's like, why do we do this? Like, this is awful. But guys, what we're bringing you today is a Forging Fortitude. Now, again, the Forging Fortitudes, like Wurtz said, they're not necessarily just like a mental health-based thing. Now, obviously, we have talked about stuff that relates to mental health, like loneliness and whatnot, and how important it is to get around the right people. That was a good episode for that matter.
Yeah,
but,
without a doubt.
But today is more about drive and the actual desire to win, as the title suggests. And basically, we were talking about this before the episode. We wanted to go into depth, guys, about how it really is innate for you to want to have things at a higher purpose that what you are doing now. Like, for example, if you're like, man, I'm kind of caught up in this job, it feels like I'm not really making any impact, etc. That's probably yourself telling yourself, your little inner consciousness telling you that you should start chasing something bigger than you. Again, it doesn't even have to be a full-time thing either. Like, for us, Untapped's going to be a full-time thing. No doubt, like 100%. But some people can get a lot of pleasure, is kind of an odd way to put it, but they can get a lot out of a side hustle. that type of thing too.
Yeah, yeah.
And have their job and their side hustle because that allows them to be effective in some way.
Sure, and it also allows you to use skills on something that you're passionate about. Something that's potentially giving you more income. That's a great thing. More happiness because you're doing something that you care about. I know a lot of people, and this is because I grew up playing video games when I wasn't outside or playing ball or whatever. So just naturally, I was interested in the big streamers and, Nick Merckx, guys like that. And honestly, to this day, especially Nick Merckx, like I send you his stuff all the time.
Well, Nick's just a quality guy.
He is.
That's why.
He is a genuine quality guy. I mean, he's super funny. He's obviously good at what he does, but he also is a real person and has real beliefs. And, it's just really good to see. Anyway, a lot of people will use like streaming as a side hustle. I'm not just saying playing video games, but side hustle could be streaming. It could be doing online fitness training for people. That could be just a side hustle, just a way to kind of keep that skill honed. If you're someone that's passionate about fitness or things like that. Some people, a podcast could be a side hustle. Again, like you already alluded to, Untapped and the Untapped podcasts are obviously going to be full-time for us. We don't just see these as a side hustle, even though right now that's kind of what they are. It's a side thing for us, but we're working to make that our full-time gig, But I think it allows you to also showcase your creativity. For me anyway, a way I can do that is content. Making content, especially like the Merry Mondays and especially out of the gym content because, and we kind of talked about this, I think, last week on our episode. But when I do more story-driven type posts, it allows me to use my creativity and use that skill and hone that skill even more, whether that's the actual content creation or like, okay, what's a cool way I could tell the viewer this part of the story with this angle or this type of content or whatever. So I think it's super important to find a passion and whatever you find you're passionate about, like do that thing more. And then I think that desire to win, that desire to conquer, that desire for more, that desire for something that is higher than you will really come out. Does that make sense? What do you think?
Yeah, oh, definitely. And one thing I would say is, along with that desire to conquer and win, is kind of a desire for freedom in certain ways. Oh man, a bug's attacking you right now. See, this is one of the risks we run with being outside, is bug attacks. But I would say...
That dude just came at me.
I mean, he was...
Bro, that's my face.
I thought you were done for sure. I thought we were
trying
going
to get a drink of water here, man.
But one thing I would say about the desire to conquer and win is also the desire of freedom.
Ooh,
because
love that.
Because money really brings that freedom. I remember whenever, funny enough, whenever we would work, Mitchell and I started working at the same place. Well, I was 15 when I started working there, and he was also 15. So obviously, I was 2 years into it when he joined.
Sure.
But we worked as lifeguards and worked our way up as supervisors, and we would end up working during the summer only, and we worked 50 to 60 hour weeks. We'd make a good amount of cash during that time.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, and it's different at that age having that type of cash because you don't have any of the bills that come along with being 25 and whatnot now. So I remember looking back and I'm like, to a certain degree, that financial freedom that came along with that was super nice because it gave you a buffer to anything you could do. You could go out and have food with your friends or whatever. You could go out and do paintball with your friends or whatever when you're in high school, that type of stuff. And I
buy
relate
clothes
that. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of times what I see today, I've talked to a couple guys that are in this now, but they're in e-commerce. And basically they use that as a side hustle to add $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month to what they already do. Yeah. Because the online market allows for that, like copywriting, that type of stuff.
Right.
So it's always interesting to me because the desire of freedom, I feel like comes along with that as well. Now, there's also the thing about humans that we will take the path of least resistance a lot of the times.
Sure.
So you have to, the desire to conquer and win is in there, but you have to actually activate it to a certain degree.
And we also like comfort. You know, like you just said, the path of least resistance. We also like comfort. And when you start chasing something, there's an uncomfortability that comes with that, which is very scary, And I think it causes a lot of people to either, one, they don't start it at all, or they get they get into it, and then very shortly into it, they cut it out. They quit, because one, you're not seeing results, or two, you're worried about people judging you. or which is just the stupidest thing, I think. It really is.
Oh, looking back on it, I remember thinking that way, and it's just like it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, earlier I mentioned the Merry Mondays, and when I did number 100, obviously I sat in front of the camera and talked because I wanted to make that a little bit different. But I said in that number 100, when I posted number 1 and when I first started doing fitness content, like I was genuinely nervous about people judging me for doing that, which is just the silliest thing because I look back on it now and then not only at the beginning, but all the way up until now, like there's a lot of people that I don't know, but they know me because of those. And they tell me how much that they look forward to hearing those or that they just enjoy them is my point. And that means a lot because not only has there been a lot of time and effort into those, but it makes me look back and it's like, why was I ever nervous about this? Because there could be one person, guys, one person that you're leading, that you're inspiring, that you're motivating, and you are doing all those things. And more than likely, you may not know that person. You're so concerned about the people that you think you know or that you used to know or be friends with back in high school or whatever, at an old job, whatever it might be. But the reality of it is, guys, that there's always somebody that you're leading, that you're inspiring, that looks forward to watching what you're doing because then it makes them do that or chase their something, whatever that something is for them. You might be the person to get that out of them. You said you have to activate it, right? You might be the person to activate that in someone else. Exactly. There's a lot of power in that.
Yep.
And that's a heavy thing to bear on your shoulders too when you start thinking about it. But if you can look at it in the right way, it'll also continue to drive you.
Yeah. Well, especially when they look at your consistency with the Merry Mondays too.
Sure.
Because if it's a weekly thing and they're seeing that, it's like, well, this guy's not stopping. Why don't I try something out and not stop on it either?
Right.
And
it could be something totally unrelated.
100%.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. But you're right. It's content is a great way to do that, and that's one of the big benefits of social media because it allows for you to actually express yourself and chase different things that were ever allowed. Because obviously, before social media was really just brick and mortar businesses, and I believe that's it.
Sure.
Obviously there's different avenues and whatnot with brick and mortar and stuff like that, but for the most part, if you really wanted to dominate, you had to actually build up from the ground in brick and mortar business, and it was like generations of family a lot of the times.
And word of mouth.
And word of mouth. Which is also, it's still very important to do that. It's still super cool to work with that stuff. And that's why we work with people, I guess, too.
Yeah.
And whatnot, because of word of mouth. They're literally the boots on the ground.
100%.
So, but I wanted to say, too, because you were talking about how, people you used to be friends with, people that follow you on social media and whatnot, and you're worried about what they'll think. It's always interesting looking back, and I'm like, I have to tell myself in those scenarios, or I had to at the time, are they living the lives I want to live?
Exactly.
Are they who I want to be?
Right.
Then why the hell do I give a shit about that?
Are they in a position to judge me? Are they in a position to give advice to me, as we said in a couple episodes back?
Exactly.
Are they? Because more than likely they're not. They're not. So it's like, why are you wasting energy? Why are you wasting mental energy on being nervous or being scared that they're going to judge you? And who cares if they do? Who cares?
Yeah.
And
you have nothing better to do than judge me? Cool.
Exactly.
Like you have to have something going on in your life that, that you can, if you want to judge me and it helps you, that's awesome.
Right. You got something going on, you can go take care of it at Larry's.
That's, what a shithole.
You know what's funny to me? Just real quick side tangent here. The amount of people that listen to the podcast and watch on YouTube that have no idea what Larry's is, they probably have just this horrible picture of Larry's in their mind, which you should, by the way. Okay. But it's just, I don't know, that's just funny to me. I was thinking about that.
Oh, they probably think it's a dungeon somewhere. That's probably
what it kind of is. Maybe not dungeon.
Well, the bathrooms are. That's for sure.
Dude.
Oh, my God.
The bathrooms are about as big as you and I. Like, legitimately.
No, I remember I'd walk in there, and I was
you got a shuffle step everywhere.
I don't have any room to move anywhere. I was like, this is horrible. I was like
if you got to go number 2 at Larry's, man.
We're gonna get sued for, like, what's it called, libel and slander or whatever. Is that the right word for it?
I don't know. I have no idea. But think about it. If you got to do the dirty there, you got to drop a deuce.
And we know some of the guys that are doing it there too.
I feel for you.
Just some big bodies.
I feel for you. Tough time. Tough look. Anyway, back on topic here.
Back on track. Back on track.
Something else I want to mention here too. When people, they're starting to find that desire to win, that innate thing inside of them that they want more, they want to win, they want to conquer things. There's also a lot of people that will kind of turn themselves into a victim.
Yeah,
You
that's
give
an
that look
important
because
point.
you know it's true.
Yeah.
We've experienced people like that in our lives, and you just hear a lot of stories about this too. But people want recognition. Okay, period. People want recognition. I get that. I think it's human nature to want recognition for things. Yeah. It feels good, and that's why.
Attention is a huge thing too.
Is it wrong? Is it right? That's not my answer to give. However, it is human nature to want recognition. However, you can't want recognition for something you haven't done yet. Do the work, be consistent, be disciplined, learn how to do it differently, do it better, do it new. And then down the road, when you don't care about getting the recognition, that's when you'll get the recognition. But if you're so focused, right now, what episode is this? 95 or
94 total,
94?
I believe. Yep.
Yeah, which is sick, by the way.
Yeah, it's dirty.
Yeah, just awesome. But guys, that's a testament to being consistent, being disciplined. We have missed very few weeks. There's been a handful of them, and there's even been weeks where it's like, either I've said it or you've said it. It's just like we could take this week off. Like we've been going for 3 straight months, and it's like, you know what? Hell no. Like what if?
Exactly.
And we said this a few episodes back. But what if that next one that we don't do? What if that's the one that just goes viral on YouTube? What if it blows up on Spotify?
Exactly.
Well, we would have never known. So why risk it? Why risk it? So my point is, we're closing in on 100 episodes. Have we been focused on recognition one time? I wouldn't say so. We just continue to put our content out. We continue to give advice to you guys. We continue to give our thoughts and opinions on fitness-related things, on current events. We give our opinions on things. Maybe we make you guys think of certain things or certain topics or certain events that are going on in a different way that maybe you didn't think about. So we continue to bring the content. The recognition, all that, it'll come down the road.
Yeah.
But if we were focused on that right now, we would have quit probably before 50 episodes.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Before we would 100% have quit before 50 episodes because we were like, well, we're not getting enough recognition. We're going to give up now.
Right. Why would we continue to spend time on
it's crazy, though. I've heard so many stories of podcasts that have gotten to like episode 200 or 300, and that's when they blow up.
Yeah.
So it takes that long.
Yeah.
So for us, it's like, well,
let's make it 150.
Whatever.
Let's do such a good job.
Yeah, exactly. It ends up at 150.
You know what I mean?
100%. No, you're right, though.
Right.
But it's like,
and then we have Brad Martin sitting on
I mean,
this couch with us.
and again, maybe it'll be 95.
Sure.
Maybe it'll be this one, 94. Maybe it'll be 102, whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
But it doesn't matter. You just keep doing it.
Right.
And it's interesting because you talk about recognition, and it's like whenever I talk to somebody who's not a huge fan or has not been, has not been
like a follower or
no, it's more like when I talk to somebody who they're just not a big gym person or they don't exercise at all.
Okay, yeah.
There's been times where they're almost trying to get recognition for that.
For not
yes
going to the gym?
And I've had this conversation where they're yeah, exactly. They're basically like, well, I mean, like I have this one issue with my thyroid and then my knees happened back in high school and then my liver for some reason affects the way if I go to the gym and then I have this heart murmur that stops me from going to the gym and it starts adding up and they're looking for recognition for something they're
looking for you to feel bad.
Literal injury.
Yeah.
For them apparently being like what sounds like a weaker human.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, and guess what? If you went to the gym, your thyroid issue would improve.
Exactly. And every person I've talked to who's had a heart murmur issue has also improved. They just have to ease themselves into stuff like cardio
you gotta be selective.
and whatnot. You have to be direct about how you go about your exercise if you might have one issue added on. Sure.
Yeah.
But it's not going to change that much.
Yeah.
You might just have to control your heart rate for a few months or whatever, and then you'll start being able to increase that intensity, that type of stuff.
So let me ask you this then. And I mean, I think I know what you're going to say, but do you think that's because people, as far as the gym, do you think it's because people have a fear of being the beginner in the gym?
Yeah, I think honestly, a lot of the times what I've seen is they're afraid of the actual journey that comes along with the gym because
it's daunting.
It's daunting because that's why, for example, that's why you see steroids becoming more popular.
Sure.
For like 16, 17-year-old boys.
Yeah.
Because they want the quick route.
Absolutely.
They want to be jacked right then.
Yeah.
I would also say they're on the people that are, not young teenage boys. A lot of the times they have this weird image in their head about what the gym is. Like
In what way?
it's just this meatball festival.
Oh,
And
so it's intimidating.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody is juiced to the gills. They all have bicep veins popping out of their skin and whatnot. Everybody is evil and an asshole in there because they're egotistical and all this.
Right.
And for some, and that might have been a psyop. Who knows? But
Damn.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
like tinfoil hat.
We didn't bring our glasses out here,
Tinfoil
bro.
hat here. Yeah. Yes. But that might have been a psyop. Who knows? But a lot of people have this weird image in what the gym is in their head. It's like, man, I'm gonna go either super early in the morning or super late at night because there's not really that many people there. I don't have to worry about judgment. It's like, bro, nobody cares
Yeah, no one's looking at you.
all.
Like
Nobody's looking at you.
there's very few times where I catch, and it does happen, especially because, down at House of Pain, like, there are people that are worthy of looking at, like, damn, like, that's a good physique.
That's different.
You know, of course.
Yeah,
And
like
that's-
Will Bates, you're gonna look at him.
Exactly.
100%.
Yes. But very rarely do I catch myself just locked in on somebody else. Like, no, like I'm not doing that.
Well,
know?
what it is the only way you'd be locked in on somebody that's a beginner is if you're going to help them.
Yeah, or like if they're just doing something tragically wrong.
Exactly. And you're going to go help them.
Exactly.
Exactly what that
Yes.
is. Like, what are you doing? Stop. Mitchell's grabbing his head over here because it's true. It's like, no, don't squat like that, please. I mean, realistically.
No, literally.
You know?
And like that's kind of in us anyway because we're trainers.
Exactly.
We're coaches. We do that.
Yeah.
But back to the steroid topic. It's wild. Some of my current athletes right now are in that 15, 16, even 17, 18 year old range. And they've asked me about going on roids.
Like SARMs and stuff
Or
like that.
SARMs
Probably,
or
yeah.
Tren.
SERMs, yeah.
And like, hey, should I do that, Jake? Absolutely not. No. And I kind of get a little stern with them to scare them a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Be like, no. Like, you don't need that. If anything, start taking creatine. You want to start taking creatine? Great, I'm all for it.
15,
like,
16 years old, that's fine.
Could it be
Yeah.
because they're afraid of losing because they've never lost in their life? Because they've never had to face real life?
That certainly could be it, but also...
Especially in, like, the demographic of, the richer areas of Missouri and whatnot. There's not really been much hardship in that and whatnot.
Not a ton. I literally
Yeah.
had this is brutal. I had a kid tell me, he goes, why would I ever leave West County? Because we were like talking about Washington, Missouri or something like that. And I was like talking it up because, Washington is a great time out there.
Because the traffic sucks. That's
And-
why. That's why
yeah.
I leave. That's alone.
But it wasn't even, it was just a mind-blowing statement. And
Like, ever? You never want to move anywhere else,
apparently,
bro?
I was like, bro, what?
Want to live anywhere else at all?
Anyway, Mitch, to your point, I think that's part of it, the fear of losing. But I also know that they see younger guys on TikTok, on Instagram, just on social media in general, and they see those guys that are 16 years old that
Sauced up, yeah.
are taking SARMs, that are all sauced up, and yeah, they might be jacked, they might be vascular, it might appear that they have all these girls around them. Again, at 16, 17 years old, you think that's what you want. But in reality, a couple years down the road, like those dudes are messed up for life. Mentally, physically, they are physically harming their body, especially if it's SARMs, because that's all synthetic stuff.
Well, and the biggest thing about SARMs is your natural testosterone production is going to go through the ground.
Exactly.
I mean, and you might be able to salvage something with TRT and whatnot, but
maybe. But at 17 years old,
exactly.
shouldn't have to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, then you have your testicles are tiny and whatnot.
Exactly.
Like that's awful.
As funny as that
we
sounds,
laugh,
Mitch,
but it's true.
It is true.
Yeah.
It is true.
Because it literally turns off the actual function of them.
Yes.
Like they're like, oh, I don't need to produce anything anymore.
No. Yeah.
And they shrink.
Yeah.
Is that scary enough?
Exactly. Now, and this is kind of a sunglasses statement here. We also know that there's a bigger agenda going on as far as the younger guys not having the testosterone levels that they should, including guys our age. Connor, who we had on the podcast, he's not even 30 yet. He's got to be on TRT.
Because his testosterone levels are that low.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they weren't low by anything. Like he probably purposely did.
Yeah, right.
It was more than likely like the drinking water we've talked about that
Right.
ruined it, whatnot. Our food is so processed anymore.
Yeah.
All these different environmental factors
Right.
that lowered it. So yes, you're right. But that in turn then encourages the younger boys to go on them too, because they're like, well, my testosterone's already low. I want to be like this high test alpha guy.
Yeah. which like is good that you have that in you.
That's awesome.
But we got to do it the right way.
Yeah, there's also natural ways you can do it, and then okay, if we test your blood work at 21, 22, then TRT might be an option.
It could be.
Most of the time, a lot of clinics, I think they'll wait till like 25, which I think is smart.
I think so too.
I would imagine ethical issues would be coming into play before that, but
and I'm sure there's special cases though.
Exactly. Yes.
If you get
there is
a 20, 21-year-old that comes in and lists the symptoms of having low testosterone, they're going to test him. They're going to do the blood work.
Definitely. And you should still get your blood work done even if you're not going to go on TRT and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Too. And you and I both need to go do that here soon. Yeah. But it's interesting because they want the recognition fast. Is where on that same topic.
That's where it all.
They just want it quick, and that's where the victim culture comes from. Because people go on there and bitch about how hard their life is or whatever, and talk about how they can't exercise. They talk about how they're fat because of this reason. They're super skinny because of this reason. They're their life's in shambles because of this reason. It's like, bro, no one cares.
Yeah,
like no one in that case cares, and they're giving you sympathy comments and likes on social media.
Yep,
and that's it. That's how you're getting attention.
Right?
Or is that really the way you want to conquer and win?
Exactly.
Is be a loser?
Right.
On social media? Like, I mean, seriously.
No, 100%.
Like,
yeah. Well, and it also takes, I think, evaluating the people around you. Evaluate your friend group. Evaluate just in general whoever you're spending most of your time with. Whether that's a team, if we're talking to the 15 to 18-year-old range, a lot of those guys and girls are on team sports.
Yeah.
And so it's evaluating your team, your friend group, just again the people you spend most time around. You got to figure out who the winners and losers are. Now, for the people that are not in that age range, the people that are more like us, who were out of sports, in a what's the word I'm looking for? In an organized way.
Oh, yeah.
We're out of sports. Yeah. Obviously we find our ways to play recreational sports and whatnot, but those of you in a workplace, in your friend groups, whether you're in your 20s, your 30s, whatever, it doesn't really matter the age, honestly. You got to evaluate who the potential winners and losers are of those people that are around you. What do they say? You're the sum of the...
You're some of the 5 people around you.
5 people around you,
Yep.
And so if you have a group of 10 around you, who are the real 5? Who are the real 3?
Exactly.
Who's the real 1? You know what I mean? So evaluating the potential winners, keep those around.
Yeah.
Keep those people around.
And you can tell, but like you said before we started the podcast, it was like it is tougher to pick out the winners. Sometimes.
Absolutely.
Now, it's easier, like you were talking about, when you're growing up in organized sports because, let's say you're playing like select. Job if they're an entrepreneur, or because it's not like entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs can't be friends. Like that's I think
of course not.
Yeah, like
you have to be able to work together. Honestly.
Exactly. We're never saying that, but it's also you have to have the wherewithal to be able to pick out the winners around you in the way of like it's so tough to describe this, but if they're obviously chasing like the side hustles like we mentioned and whatnot, they're talking about the right things. It's what we had with the episode about honesty and friendships and whatnot, having actual productive, substantive conversations.
Yeah.
Because, again, if they're just talking about basic stuff, work was tough this week. The Cardinals, they suck this year.
The football game.
Hey, you going back to the high school football game this weekend? And they're 25 plus years old. Then you might want to reevaluate.
You're right.
And that's why I'm pointing that out, because you can easily identify the losers a lot of the times.
Yes.
It's pretty clear
to
anybody with a rational mind who your loser friends are.
Yeah.
And maybe you are one of those people.
You could be.
If you're listening to this, you're probably trying to become a winner.
I would agree with
you
that.
should have the wherewithal to be able to pick out the loser friends.
Yeah.
The winners, you'll just have to do a little bit of time.
A little more digging.
Yeah.
You can drop little hints. You can say little phrases. See how they react.
Yep.
And if you or if someone you're trying to evaluate, like if there's someone that talks about side hustles, or if if you have a content-driven person, if they're trying to do more content, or they're asking you your opinion on their content or something like that, or, hey, how could I do a better job at this or that outside of their job, is what I'm talking about. That's a good sign. That's a sign of a winner there. That's a sign of someone trying to do more.
One thing Sam and Z at Iron Hive said to me yesterday was like, yep, we're going to win together.
That's right.
I was like, that's easy to pick out.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that's about as clear of a winner friend as you can get there.
Dude, the first time I met him, because he came to our last men's night where we actually played football.
Yep.
Which is
I almost ripped all the
awesome.
ligaments of my ankle to pieces.
Yeah. QB1 here, just by the way.
Yeah, or it's just got to dial with QB for sure. Yeah.
First time I met him, I was like, this dude's awesome. This dude's a savage.
I still babied you.
Okay. Interesting, Mitch. When did you show up? Did you show up at game time?
Did you get babied?
Man, you didn't do anything to me.
He shows up an hour and 15 late.
Yeah. Anyway, not the point. I'm like, first of all, this guy's a savage because he has a New York accent. So, like, that's sick. Yeah. Just bad sick enough. Already. Yeah.
Future untapped guest for sure.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
You guys will love him.
But then just the way you talk about him, or the way he talks, I mean, it lined up with everything that you both of you have said about him. And it just, he fit in so well. He's 40 years old, and he was like, dude, a group like this, something you guys are trying to do here, what you're trying to build, whether it's with Untapped or with this group, there's nothing like it. He's like, I've never seen anything like it. He was like, I would love to be a part of this. I would be honored to be a part of this. And it's like, bro, the feeling is mutual. I've talked to you for 7 minutes of my life, and like we're homies.
And it was that easy. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So you're exactly right. The point is it's people like that. Now, is everyone going to have an interaction with you like that to then know that they're a winner? No, of course not.
No.
Of course not. Not everyone's going to be up front, because it kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier. Some people are afraid to be judged.
Yep.
So if you're in a group setting where, let's say you got all 8, 10, 12, however many of you sitting around at a table, or you guys are all out somewhere, they might not be as apt to say something that would indicate that they are a winner, or that they want more, that they have a desire to win, they have a desire to do more, So again, it takes little hints, or maybe it takes a text to them, or it takes just to hang out with them. If you have an inkling, like, there's no reason you can't do that.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Dude, one of my worst nightmares is like sitting down at dinner with like a group of people, and they don't talk about anything actually useful at all.
Just a useless time at dinner.
Like, I'm talking like 2 of us are winners, like you said. Like, you're trying to pick out the other one who's a winner.
Yeah.
And then the other 6 are just losers.
Yeah.
That's a miserable situation to be in. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that just scares me.
I mean, let me ask you this then. In this nightmare, is the dinner good at least?
I was kind of imagining being at like being at like B-dubs or something like that.
Hey man, that's where we watch the fights.
That's true.
Come on now.
But again, the fights are different because we can learn how to kill people watching them. So.
And we get to hear Bruce Buffer's voice.
And Bruce Buffer, yeah. So we can suck him off a little bit, but that's okay.
Whoa!
Oh my God, bro!
Holy Christmas! The whole neighborhood just heard that. Holy cow!
Just zero filter.
I think you just killed Mitch with that.
Mitchell's like, I gotta edit that out. Oh my gosh! These guys are showing their personality.
True.
They're showing the real side of them.
I mean, imagine having Bruce Buffer on the mic with us, though.
Would he just like yell at the mic the whole time though? Like, how would he be on a podcast? You know what I mean?
No.
Exactly. So like, how do you have Bruce on a podcast?
That'd be awesome.
Now we need to have Sean Strickland on.
Let's go, dude. We would all lose brain cells. There is 0% chance that would be a productive conversation. Like, dude's a savage in the octagon, but holy cow, there's very little intelligence.
He's been hit in the head a lot of times.
Oh yeah, yeah. Combine that with a guy that I'm pretty sure lived in a trailer his whole life. It's just what he.
I think that's what he says. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, just a rough upbringing.
Anyway, episode 26 of season 3, we will be flying out to Vegas to get Bruce Buffer on.
Yep, easy money
on Mitch's dime.
But
we pay him a big enough salary.
Yeah,
he could treat us.
He can treat us on the salary we pay him. Again, what Mitchell? What's so funny is that we've talked about this. Is like Mitchell's going to get paid plenty of money,
big time,
handsomely,
big time
by us, because of what he's done,
especially everything he's doing now for us.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the thing is like, as we've talked about before, Mitchell's an example of somebody who's provided value. Though he's a great example of this scenario.
Yeah,
because
we didn't even have to ask or anything,
bro. No,
like you came to us when you got back from
Minnesota.
I was about to say Minneapolis.
Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
And you were like, we're taking this to the next level and I'm helping. Okay, bet. I mean, I'm pretty damn sure that was like exact quote.
Did we?
Absolutely. Look at us right now.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, because imagine trying to do this with the Blue Yeti. Exactly.
Oh, man.
It would have been a shit show.
It would have.
Been a complete shit
Still
show.
had one mic in between us. We're outside with one
We would have
mic.
heard the entire outdoors.
We just hear all the wind whooshing around.
We would have set the laptop on this table and it would have been on fire.
By the way, you guys got to watch this one on
Too
YouTube
funny.
whenever it comes out, too.
Too funny.
Oh, my gosh.
But real talk, you're exactly right. That is an example of a winner.
Well, 100%. Because, and again, like, I don't know if this was because Mitch and I had a like different drive, or he saw that I had a drive to do something different. He decided, like, I want to help with this.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. But the fact that he was like, I want to help you guys take this off the ground. And he said that to me, and then he said it to both of us whenever we actually had the conversation.
Yeah.
That's a great example.
Well, and it's probably because, again, to kind of, I know we kind of keep retracing steps from earlier in this episode, but, from up in Minnesota, he could see every week we were putting out, and at that time, sometimes we were putting out 2 a week. Mm-hmm. It's like every week these guys are putting out episodes, every week, and it's like he was that missing piece that would help us take it to the next level, as far as hardware, like the actual equipment, and then to make it sound better on Spotify, to just altogether take it to the next level, like you were that missing piece, Mitch. And so, guys, like that, the examples that we just used there with Money Mitch, and then with Sam with Iron Hive, like those are 2 examples of winners that are close to us. Mm-hmm. It happens that one of them is in your family, which is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Like talk about mom and dad
big
breeding
blessing.
right there.
Yeah.
Making winners.
Yeah, Steve and Lisa just breeding
That's just
savages.
Yeah. Dave and Teresa too, for that matter.
Yeah. Spartan blood.
Yeah.
How do you bridge the gap between I should and I do?
Is that our Q&A?
No.
How do you bridge the gap between I should and I do?
Mm-hmm. Because we're talking about winning right now.
Yeah.
How do you might have a loss that causes hesitation. Because if you lose, you're going to hesitate or be scared that something else is going to happen. You're going to let that carry over. So how do you bridge that gap between, I might do it, but you never do it. You should.
Like I might do Untapped or something like that.
Yeah,
or
but
I might
how do you
Untapped,
how do you make that jump from I should to I did or I'm doing?
I think it's Andy's motto. 0 options mentality. Mm-hmm. If you give yourself 0 options, then what other direction do you have to go besides with whatever that thing is?
Yeah. I feel like one thing that's really helpful too, along with the 0 options mentality, is I feel like it's very helpful to put things around you that encourage you to do. So for example, us buying the training software.
Yeah.
That gives us the tools to put in programs and to program for people.
Yeah.
And then it's like, why are we paying for this if we don't have clients? And then so we started training people.
Yeah. Right.
So that puts that around us. And then we also, with a couple of our clients we've had final calls after the trials with them and stuff like that. So that's another thing. We've made sure, hey, tell us what you thought.
Yeah.
That also encourages us to do more because we hear direct things from those people.
Yeah.
So again, I think it's a big environment thing too, where if you actually want to get to I do, or I do this thing, or we're doing this thing, is put the things around you. Because, I mean, we talked about we're going to increase the quality for the podcast. Mm-hmm. We're going to add to the sound quality of the podcast. And then by Mitchell coming in and adding that aspect and saying, let's do it.
Right.
We're able to do this.
Absolutely.
And add to the quality of the podcast. So it's also an environment thing, because
100%.
if you don't put tools around you to even help you get to that point, it's nothing. Which honestly, the tools can be your phone and a laptop a lot of times.
Dude, especially nowadays.
Without
a doubt. Without a doubt. And that's, we've talked about social media being used as a tool, your phone being used as a tool. Like, we have found how that can be the case, how it can help progress you, and I think you're exactly right. Number one is a conducive environment. I really, really do. I 100% agree with that, because if you're continually putting yourself in situations to not succeed, you're not going to succeed. But if you can find the winners that are around you and find the tools that can help you win around you, what are you going to do? You're going to win. You're going to progress forward.
Yeah, it's that simple. 100%.
You're going to,
You're going to conquer.
You're going to win, but you're going to quench that thirst that you have to win.
Yep, I should.
Yes.
Yeah. And especially for us that are listening that are 20, 30 years old, do we really want to go our whole life and be 70, 80 years old and say we didn't pull the trigger on that thing, that we gave up on that thing? Do you want to be talking to your kids and saying, I gave up on my dream?
Yeah, or be the guy that's, I was going to start my own business back in my 20s, and it wouldn't have worked. Well, how do you know it wouldn't have worked? Yeah.
Which,
I didn't have
even
the
if you're
time.
50, 60, you can still start that stuff.
Dude, KFC.
We've seen that. Yeah.
KFC didn't, I heard this the other day.
I know what you're talking about, too.
He didn't, what's the KFC guy's name? Colonel
Sanders.
Sanders,
or something like that?
Yeah. He funny. He did not open his first KFC until he was like 62 years old.
Huh.
I just heard that the other day.
So it's never too late, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then now look at it, like they're everywhere.
Yep. And I guarantee his generational wealth is unbelievable because of that.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
Absolutely.
Because he decided to follow his dream even at 62 years old.
Exactly.
So it's never too late. Just because I'm already in my 9-to-5 job and I'm 26 now. Bro,
what?
What?
Oh, yeah, right.
Because it's going to be an uncomfortability thing in that scenario, too.
For sure.
But it happens to be that women like the mystery sometimes, too. And like you chasing something different.
Just being driven.
So, exactly.
Being driven. Anyone's going to like that.
And driven is out of the norm. So naturally they like something out of the norm.
Yeah, exactly. You want that.
Yes.
You want that drive. And even in girls, like we find that attractive, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yep.
But I don't know, dude. I think more and more people need to find the desire to win, the desire to conquer.
It's in there.
Yeah. Well, it is. It is.
But they just got to
find it.
You got to activate it. You got to find it.
Yep.
100%.
And sometimes that's leaving the current people that you're around. Sometimes it's picking out those winners, as we've talked about. Sometimes it's something completely independent of those things, But you got to find a way to activate it. That's the bottom line here. So, guys, at the end of all of our episodes, Money Mitch will ask us a Q&A question. You guys can submit these a couple different ways. First, you can DM them to us on Instagram at untapped.llp. There's also an email button on there that you can email them to us. That email address is extricationfitness@gmail.com. You can also DM or text either one of us individually. You can also leave them in the comments on the YouTube videos, guys. If you're someone that listens to podcasts, and honestly, I'm like this too. I usually just listen to podcasts. But go on to YouTube. Definitely watch parts of this episode because we're outside. Yep. The setting is very cool. We had the sun setting behind us. Got a fire going. Like it's just a...
And we're adding memes in there on YouTube too, so even better.
Money Mitch will add memes when we say sus things like what you just did about Bruce Buffer. But anyway, my point, subscribe to us on YouTube, like the videos, and then you can also leave the Q&A questions in the comments on YouTube. All in all, guys, get involved with our content, whether that's YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, like interact, leave a fire emoji on our Instagram posts, leave comments, get involved in the conversations. We've had a few posts here recently that were from our physical vitality episode where we had like 4 different strength coaches, not including
30 different plus comments or something like
that.
Yeah,
that basically had a roundtable discussion about different movements and just different things in the fitness industry, and that's awesome. Like we want to see that interaction. We want to see you guys interact with each other, interact with us. So just all around, get involved with our content, please, guys. It helps us grow. Anyway, Money Mitch, do your thing.
So I assume you guys feel the same about this. Typically, losses affect us more emotionally than wins, I'd say. We remember the first time you were turned down by a girl, or you remember the first time, you got your ankles dangled off by a player or something like that.
Damn.
Yeah, just got sauced on this dude. Yeah.
I think that's a real thing. You typically remember losses more deeper emotionally.
Yeah.
How do you disassociate emotion from those losses, or how do you move past those losses quicker and not let it affect you at a deep emotional level?
Yeah, and you're just saying in general or just for sports?
In general.
In general.
Yeah.
I hate losing. Absolutely hate losing.
Yeah. So I think the number one way to differentiate or kind of unplug those emotions from it is recognize that they're a lesson in whatever way it is, whether it's a sport, there's a lesson in there. Okay, why did I lose this game? Why did we lose this game? More important, why did my team lose this game? Hockey, baseball, it doesn't matter. Okay, we could have done this better. We could have done this better. Maybe I, in a certain situation, could have done my job better on the field, on the ice, whatever. So there's that. And in life, let's say you get out of a relationship, you get broken up with, or someone breaks up with you, or you break up with somebody, or you get broken up with. There's a lesson in there, even if it is you ending that relationship, whether it's a friendship or a romantic relationship. There's a lesson in that, and sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it takes time to find those lessons, because especially when it might be our fault or we play a part in it, it's very hard to be able to look in the mirror and be like, okay, I could have done this better. I could have not said this. I could have not acted this way, or I could have acted this way, or, whatever it is. So I think it's just understanding that a loss doesn't have to be the end of the world. It doesn't have to be the end of the line. And it usually never is, unless you literally die. Okay? But that there's a lesson in there, and you can get better from losses, because you don't get better from wins. You don't get better from wins. If you win something, if you win a game, if you win whatever, you're doing it right.
Yeah. You might know, okay, I got to continue doing this, but that's about it.
And there could be some luck involved, especially in a sport. The other team could boot a ball on defense. The other team could score on their own net.
100%.
There's certainly an element of luck to sports, but you're not really learning anything from that. But it's in those failures, it's in the losses that you learn things.
Definitely. Yeah. 100%. If you can take the emotion out of losses too, it's a complete game changer. Because like you said, that's where you actually get the lessons from them.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting, because we've talked about this with our difference in our sports. I feel like the lessons probably for you in baseball end up coming after the game. For us in hockey, I can learn from the last shift.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So the game's pace is so much different. And I feel like that's kind of a metaphor for life in a lot of ways. Some people, will learn lessons maybe at a slower rate, just because, losses might come at a lower rate for other people compared to a higher rate for a certain person or whatever. That's why a lot of times, people that are in poverty or whatnot, they have a lot of times the success rate is a little bit higher with them if we're talking like multimillionaires, because they took so many losses that they learned all these lessons from them.
And they're like, I'm not going back to that.
Now, again, people that grew up in poverty or without a father, without a mother, whatever it is, they do have a higher chance of not being successful too. Being in poverty, in jail, whatever it is, committed a crime,
and things like that.
Etc.
Yes.
But there has been stuff done where a lot of the times people that are successful, they get their ass kicked so much and they lose so much that they end up winning if they really take those lessons the right way.
Yeah, especially if they're a winner.
Exactly.
You just continually get beat down, but you're relentless.
Yeah.
Like, you can't lose. You cannot be stopped.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I feel like that's where we're at right now, is we're just having to get kicked a lot in a lot of ways. And like, we love doing this and whatnot.
Right.
But, having to work the other job and whatnot, or having to work on other stuff, and having to eat, not getting paid for certain things and whatnot, and giving stuff out for free. That's just, it's going to be part of it.
But we know what's coming.
Exactly.
And that's the thing.
Yeah, and that's what we keep looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we keep looking towards that horizon instead of focusing on the fact that we just got kicked in the ass.
Yeah, right.
Is what it is.
I honestly, and we'll finish up here in just a second, but I honestly really liked how you just compared, especially baseball and hockey, as we always do, because that's what we all have our experience with.
100%.
But I really liked how you just compared that, because in hockey, like you just said, you can learn from the previous shift. Then in 2 minutes later, if that, that's kind of a long time off the ice, right?
Yeah.
What's a typical shift?
Well, for Mitch and I, we're playing a lot of the game.
Let's talk NHL.
Yeah.
What are those guys
But
running?
NHL, they're probably, like, for example, a top defenseman might play 25 minutes out of the 60 minutes of the game.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So not even half.
Exactly.
Something like that. But anyway, let's say you have a bad shift, you give up a goal. You're off the ice, you're thinking about it, but then within a couple minutes, you already have your opportunity to make up for it. That's awesome, because you can use that as fuel immediately, is my point. Immediately you get to use that. There will be some times in life where it works like that. You lose out on a sale, or you lose out on just something in life. You might have an opportunity the next day to make up for it. You very well could. Now, something like baseball, let's say you're playing, right field, okay? Say you get a ball hit to you in the first inning, goes under your glove, or you don't catch the fly ball or whatever. You make an error, right? The way baseball works, you could go the rest of the 8 innings not having a ball hit to you. Legitimately.
Yeah.
But what's really cool about baseball in that aspect is every single pitch, you still have to do your job. You might have to back somebody up. If you're the right fielder, you might have to be backing up the first baseman on a throw to first. Or you could have a ball completely not hit anywhere near you, but you still have to be ready for it, because what if it does come to you? What if this guy does hit it to you? So, yeah, you may not have the action of having another ball hit to you, but you still have to be prepared every single pitch, every single one. So in that case in life, every single day you have to do your job. You have to be prepared, because what if it's your day? What if it's your time to get that ball hit to you? You know what I mean? So in both ways, both hockey and in baseball there, they translate so well to life in that scenario, because sometimes you have the opportunity to immediately make up for that loss. You immediately have the chance to make it a W. Okay? In hockey, you immediately have a chance to prevent a goal on your next shift. In baseball, you might screw it up. It might be not until next game that you have a chance to make up for it, but you will. But you will. What I tell my guys that I coach on my team all the time is they screw something up, and they're very emotional. They're very emotional. They're 13 years old. They want to succeed. They want to win, and I love that. Especially in some, it's more than others, that they already have that desire to win, and it's so cool to see. But they will carry an error or a strikeout or a ground out. They will carry it with them forever. And what I tell them every single time, almost verbatim, every single time, the beautiful thing about baseball is you will get your opportunity to make up for it. This is a team sport. You will have your opportunity. I don't know when, I don't know how, and I don't know where on the field, but you will have your opportunity to make up for it, and that's exactly how it works in life as well.
Yeah. I love that, dude.
Yeah. Sports are awesome, dude. Especially team sports.
Sports are phenomenal. Yeah.
Team sports.
That's why I still advocate for people to continue playing them even after they're not in organized sports anymore. And
100%, dude.
Because if you continue to be competitive in them, they still teach lessons.
Yes.
So.
And it's always good to keep your competitiveness going.
Definitely.
So, well, guys, our first outdoor podcast is completed here. This was awesome. This was a cool vibe out here. We're definitely going to continue doing this without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. So, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, and I know you did, and if you found value, I also know you did, share the show, okay? Spotify and Apple Music make it extremely easy to share this to your Instagram story, so please do that for us, guys. Share that to your stories. If you're someone that watches it on YouTube, take a picture of your computer screen, take a screenshot on your phone, post that to your stories. It really, really helps us grow, okay? It's a big thing that helps us grow. It's also very free. It's extremely free. It's $3.99, in fact. Okay,
it's beyond free. But that's so true, though. Interaction with us helps us grow.
It does.
If you like us and it's free interaction, do it.
Yeah, and we want to interact as far as that goes.
That's also true. When you comment, we want to comment funny stuff back to you.
Yeah, or if you have an interesting question or a genuine question, like, we would be more than happy to answer that. Or someone else, because we have such a cool following, someone else might answer that question.
Exactly.
You might get a Brock Wilson or a Jeff LeVecchio to answer your question. You want to talk about experienced people right there.
No big deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Two studs.
Exactly. So, guys, share the show, please. And until next time, peace and love.
Thanks, ladies and gents.